It's Timmy here for Fashion Girls for Humanity, and today I'm going to teach you how to sew a surgeon scrub cap. We've ironed down the folds to create the opening for the elastic. We're going to sew this down with a single needle stitch. Make sure that you're getting close to the edge. So now we're going to be threading our elastic through the tube that we've created on the top of the hat. So take your 3-inch elastic and have a safety pin at the end. And we're going to safety pin first, insert the elastic into the tube that we've created. So kind of like insert it. And then once it's kind of in there, you feed it through so it kind of starts scrunching like that. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch until you get to the very top. Sometimes I like to put the pin on the table so you kind of are more secure. And then once you have a little bit of scrunch, you kind of pull it back so that it's sliding onto the elastic now. Don't let it extend past this portion of the end of the elastic. Keep scrunching till you get to that end and it starts to come out of the other side. So now I'm going to secure, once I get that end to the edge, I'm going to secure it with a pin. And pull. So you're basically just creating this elastic band for the back of the head. Pull through and secure this end on the pin, and then you can eliminate the safety pin. So now you have this little elastic portion. Now we're ready to combine the top portion of our cap to the side portion of our cap. So first we're going to find the midway points of the pattern pieces. So we're going to fold the top in half. And from there, we find that our middle portion is here. So we're going to stick a pin in there. You can also mark it with a marker if you want, if that's easier. So now we have our centerpiece. We're going to do the same with the side portion of the cap. So now we have our centerpiece here. And sometimes I just do it on both sides just to be safe. And you have your centerpiece here. Now we're gonna unfold. So now you see we have both of our centerpieces here and here. Now we're going to pin the top to the side. So now that we know where our center portions are, we'll make those match. And start pinning them together. Make sure your edge matches pretty well. From there, we're going to pin all around this curved edge. So we're basically getting ready to stitch these two pieces together. So I usually pin and then kind of move it around so that you get the edges close, and keep doing that until you have your entire piece pinned. Go around to the other side. It takes a little bit of time, but penning makes sewing so much easier, especially when you're sewing curves. We're almost done. All right. You'll have something that looks like this. And now we're going to get ready to sew. All right, so we're gonna do a straight stitch, 1/4 inch width. We're gonna go over the elastic and around the edges. You can keep your pins in as you go, or sometimes people like to take them out as they go. I usually just keep mine in and remove them all at the end. I'm just following that curve. And be sure to take your time to get those curves correct. I'm always finished with the reverse stitch. Now, so you're gonna end up with something that looks like this, all stitched down. So now I'm gonna remove my pins, get rid of all those. And now we want to finish this edge here so that it doesn't fray. I recommend either doing a zigzag stitch around the edge here, or you can use your pinking shears so that they create that little zigzag edge that stops it from fraying, or you can serge those edges. So I'm actually going to serge them because I have a serger here. But I'll show you quickly. This is how you would finish them with the shears. And it creates that little zigzag edge so it doesn't fray. So now we have our cap. It's almost done. So you see I serged the edges here. So now we're going to turn this inside out so that it's on the right side now. And we are going to do a little top stitch around the edge, like right at that seam where the top and the side join. We're just going to do a single needle straight stitch. We're going to start from the edge of the elastic here and go all the way around. I'm going to get as close to the edge as possible. Or as close to that seam as possible, actually. And I'm sewing down on the side portion of the cap, not the top portion. It's on this plaid portion that I have. All the way to the other side. And that's that. So we have here the back of our cap. So what we're gonna do is get rid of these little strips here because we have a little extra. We're gonna fold them back like so and just do one little straight stitch there, and then we're gonna do the same on the other side. We are at the last stage of creating your cap. So we have our beautiful cap here, and the last thing we're gonna do is attach our binding. So you can buy different widths that are pre-made at the store, or you can make your own. I made my own here just because I didn't have any that I could buy at the moment. So basically you're gonna find the center of your cap like we did earlier, fold it in half, and then place a pin here so that you can see the center. We're gonna do the same thing with our binding. Fold it in half, place the pin in the center, and then we're basically gonna open up this binding and place these two pins together. You're basically gonna encase the edge of your cap inside of your binding. So I'm gonna place that inside. I know where my center is. Fold it over and then pin it closed. And I'm gonna pin that all the way around. So just placing it inside and then closing it up. Placing it inside and then closing it up. Just gonna do that all the way around on one side. There you go. That's the edge there. Last pin on this side. And then I'm gonna swing around to the other side and do the same thing. Place it inside and close. Placing it inside and close. Now binding makes finishing edges a lot easier and neater. Looks a little bit more professional. Inside and close that up. And the last part here. So now you see we have the binding going all the way around. Once we get to the ties, we're just gonna pin those closed if you want. However, it is pressed, so it should be pretty easy for you to sew this part without pinning. But I'll just pin one side to show you how it's done. And once you get to this edge, you want to fold that in and then close it up. And do one little pin there. And you'll do the same to the other side. Now we are ready to sew. This is the last stage of our surgeon's cap. We're just closing up the binding. So we're going to sew that edge closed. and are just sewing at the edge. Looks like I kind of sewed this a little backwards, but that's okay. So just make sure that your edge here of the side of the cap is in that binding so that you catch the cap while you're sewing the binding closed. And just, I'm gonna go all the way around. The whole time, just making sure you're catching the edge of the cap, which you should be because you pinned it down beautifully. Just around. And take your time just to make sure you're catching the edges and making sure that it's sewn neatly. And the home stretch here. Remove all the pins. Get rid of any extra threads you have lying around. All right, let's take a look.